Welcome to the studio, it's Froyle here, and today our experiment will be, can you put two different pouring mediums together on the same canvas? Or will it all crack up? That's the question. So we're going to explore this question and find out for ourselves how far we can push these pouring mediums. So I have my 12 by 16 inch canvas ready to go with some beautiful little cute push pins on the bottom. Now I've got a fair amount of magenta leftovers, and this one was mixed with the Liquitex Pouring Medium, but then I have some other leftovers that was mixed with the Atelier Pouring Medium. So can you mix both those different pouring mediums together? Will they crack on the canvas? Because the Atelier one dries faster than the Liquitex, and the Liquitex, which is mixed with the Floetrol, it has a very matte finish, but the Atelier one, which is also mixed with the Floetrol, dries a little bit more of a sheen. So it's a bit of a risk today. We're risking a canvas, but you know I can fix it if it doesn't work. Collage covers a multitude of sins, and we will fix it if it all goes to custard. So I have a few other mixes here. I've got some gold, pretty sure that's a Liquitex mixed paint. Well, I'm 50% sure because it's either one or the other. This pewter color is definitely an Atelier one, and so is the pearl white. So I'm thinking, because we've got so much of this beautiful magenta color, we should pour it on the canvas at the top here and create a very beautiful negative space. We might just do that before we even start, get a little bit of movement on that. Now, I'm not exactly sure where I'm headed. I don't entirely know what it is I'm going to be creating, and isn't that all part of the fun? Okay, so we've got our magenta, beautiful negative space area. What are we going to do next? Well, we could put some gold into the magenta because I think that was an Liquitex color, and I've got the smallest amount of orange left. So let's put a little bit of that in there as well. And I'm thinking for the Atelier colors, maybe we should just put them in a cup, mix them a little. I've only got a little amount of them, so I'm pretty sure that mixing a nice combination in a cup is a good idea. Well, it seems like a good idea. I've got some black which would work really well with it, but pretty sure the black is a Liquitex Pouring Medium. And do I want to mix it in with these ones? I'm not sure about that idea. I think I might, oh, this is a Piggy's powdered pigment mix. Caramel drizzle. That's definitely in the Liquitex one. So, all right, let's put it with our magenta one here. So if we put this beautiful mix of colors on this section of the canvas, then maybe they might all play nicely together. Of course, they might not. Let's add some of the black. Now the black, I'm pretty sure, is a Liquitex Pouring Medium. I'm 50% sure that it's Liquitex Pouring Medium. Righto, well, we've done it now. I do have some bubbles in my magenta, but I haven't yet bought myself a torch. Do you think I could use a heat gun? Do you think a heat gun would work? Maybe I'll give it a try. Okay. I'm armed and dangerous. Now, if I had a flame, oh, that actually works. I'm thinking, how hot is it? Pretty warm. Just kind of wave it over the top, I'm thinking, to pop the bubbles. I think it actually worked, because I'm just not brave enough yet to get a torch. I'm terrified that I'll set myself on fire. All right, we've got these colors on. Let's just give it a little bit of movement. We're going up that way, we're going across this way. We're not going up too far, but we do just want to cover the canvas. So I'm thinking let's just pour it side to side. Let's see if we can get something happening. Thinking that my magenta perhaps was a little thick because it's at the top there and not really moving too much. So I'm thinking that perhaps I should have tested the colours. I thought they'd be all right. You know how it goes. Thought it'd be all right, but the magenta's pretty slow to move. Must have been a bit thicker than the others, maybe because it was a leftover mix. Anyway, I'm going to push it up that way because I think it will be more fun to see what the colours are going to do. Right, so let's move it back this way. So that's a pretty nice landscape strata composition. I kept all my negative space at the top, so I'm pretty happy about that. Now, what are we going to do with it? Maybe I'll get my swipe mixture and run that over. That could have a really nice pattern. I grabbed my swipe mix, so let's have a look and see what we can create with these colours, just using the white mixed with the Floetrol over the top. Create a bit of movement and we'll get some texture happening. What about over this section here? Right between these colours. Well, that's looking pretty good, but I'm really not good at starting the swipes. I seem to always make it messy. Do we want another one or do we just want to leave it? I think it's pretty nice. I'm pretty keen to just leave it. Now, if I had a black swipe, I would do that, but I don't. I have to mix one up. I think this is looking a bit boring up here. I think we need to mess with that a little bit. I have a really tiny amount of the piggies in the latte. So let's latte it on there and see if we can get something happening, especially with the beautiful metallic pigments that's in the piggies. Let's get something going on there. It's working well here. I was hoping that the piggies sitting next to those colours would spread out and kind of they move their metallic across the surface. And I was hoping that that was going to happen, and I think it might. I just have to wait a bit longer, be a little more patient. I know. I want to put another swipe on there, maybe with a smaller palette knife. Oh man, why didn't I mix up some black or gold or something? Righto. Note to self, next time, gonna be black or gold. Because, you know, I'm getting a bit bored with the white business. I'll try and start it a little better this time, and I always forget you're supposed to go slow. Oh man. There's a lot more to remember than what I first thought. All the latte's looking good. I'm going to give it a little tilt this way to see if my swipe mixture gets a little bit of movement on it. I didn't test my colours, and I do think they're all a bit thick. But other than that, we're going okay. It's definitely got a beautiful landscape feel to it. I'm going to leave it alone. Let's see how it dries. I hope the different pouring mediums, mixing them together like that, doesn't crack the paint, but just be prepared if it does. But the beautiful strata composition, we could put some textured kozo paper on it. That would look amazing. And I really like to put maybe a stencil up the top in that fabulous space where the magenta is. So there's possibilities for development. Righto, we'll let it dry, see how it looks, and then see what we're going to do with it next. Eureka! The beautiful painting has dried up. Look how good it looks, and it didn't crack. That's actually what I'm really excited about, because I am experimenting with putting different pouring mediums on the canvas, and there was a good chance it could have completely cracked to pieces, but it hasn't. So here's the things that I've learned. I put the heat gun over the magenta section because I wanted to pop the bubbles, and look how beautiful, clear and clean the paint has dried. I'm a little terrified of the torch, that's all. So I'm thinking that in the future, if I have bubbles in the paint, I'm pulling back out that heat gun, because that was okay. The Piggies pigments here in this section, they kind of blended further than I thought they would. Now, I knew that the metallic pigments would spread out, but they have really blended in. The good part is it hasn't caused adverse reactions with the other paints, so that makes me happy, because there was a bit of a mix of a few different paints in this section here. The Piggies were also in this section here. Might be hard for you to see. It was black, and the metallic pigments of the Piggies there has spread into it, but I think it would look really nice with a varnish. It would bring those colors back up. Now, my white swipe mixture went straight over an Atelier paint underneath, and that has dried up rather beautiful. The Atelier seems to dry up really clear and clean with the metallic colors. I'm really liking that, but you know, the white's a bit strong and stark contrast against the warm elements of these colors. So in my next experiment, I'm going to mix up some different swipe paint in different brands and see what that does, because I don't know, but I definitely want different colors, and I think I'd like to test some different paint brands as well. So that'll be the next video. But for this one, what are we going to do to finish this painting? It is rather beautiful as it is, but you know, I could push it a little further. I have been experimenting with transparent layers on top of the paintings with the pouring medium. So I think I might do that. We've really got nothing to lose now, have we? Yes, it does look beautiful, but it'll still look beautiful. It'll be all right. So now that it's all nice and dry, I'm definitely going to add another layer. Right, so I've got some of the clear Liquitex Pouring Medium and some of the beautiful Piggies powdered pigment mixed with the Liquitex Pouring Medium. A lot of medium, small amount of pigment, because I don't want to overwhelm my beautiful painting. I really do love it as it is. I just want to create more. More texture, another layer of color, but the trick is going to be, yes, don't put on too much, and that for me really is the hardest part. I just want to add a beautiful glaze-like transparent layer, and if I cannot completely obliterate and totally cover my painting, I'll be very happy. So we're going to start up here. I've got some of the pouring medium on there because I want to blend the beautiful pigments in with some pouring medium so that it flows and creates a beautiful layer. Now this is mango in the Piggies, and I'm going to put some up here just to add some of this beautiful iridescent color on top of my magenta. Maybe a little bit in here. Remember, I said not too much. Note to self. Do I want to add a little bit of gold on there? Well, maybe I do have it, but as I said, I'm trying not to cover it too much. And then down here in this white section, I'm going to add a little bit of the caramel drizzle Piggies pigment onto this section here. So let's put some of that on in this one. Look at these glorious pigments. They're absolutely beautiful. I just want to splatter it. I don't want a whole heap because I know that the Piggies tends to really spread itself out with the beautiful metallic pigment. So just a little bit is going to be the key. Right, well, maybe just one little spritzer of gold up in my magenta sky, and that's really pretty much going to be about it. Let's tip some of that off, get the painting level with the pouring medium, let it mix up a little more, and then we'll see how that dries. Going to give it a little bit of a push around with the brush because I want it to be blended. I don't want it to be in streaks or in lines. So we'll give it a little bit of a push like that, and then I'm going to have to leave it alone. That's always the hardest part. Right, what's my pattern doing down here? Give that a little push around. Just want a little tint of color, not a whole lot, and I definitely don't want to cover up the beautiful layer that I've already got. So I'm pretty happy with that. Little bit of movement as well. That's what I really like. Leave that alone. Oh, I'm liking that. That's worked really well. That's a beautiful color. So we'll leave that to dry, and I hope that it dries sitting as beautiful as the colors are blending in now. All right. We'll see. The painting has dried up absolutely beautiful. I'm so happy with it. Look, you can see the glorious layer of the fabulous piggies mixed with the pouring medium. It creates an incredible glaze-like effect on the painting, a beautiful second layer. So instead of the painting being flat with one layer of paint, it now has a second layer and a beautiful metallic second layer. So a little bit of piggies metallic pigments with a lot of the pouring medium. Pour it on, brush it out, and you can actually really see brush marks where I've added it, and it looks beautiful. So happy with it. It's a glorious painting. The colors are fabulous, the texture's beautiful. All I need to do now is to string it and hang it on the wall. Another successful experiment with my fluid art techniques. Now, I did think the white swipe mix was a little bit contrasting, too much starkness against my warm tones. So my next experiment is to try different swipe mix colors and see how they look. What difference do they make? I know the different brands make a big difference with the paint. So onwards to the next experiment, and I hope you're going to join me.